Shannon Sharpe is about to be one of sports media's most coveted free agents in quite some time. It was first reported by the New York Post that Shannon Sharpe had agreed to a contract buyout with Fox Sports, the parent company to FS1, where Shannon Sharpe had been on television with Skip Bayless for 7 years on a show you might have heard of called Undisputed. Well, how about Stephen A. Smith, ESPN's top paid talent, put it out there in the atmosphere that he would welcome Shannon to ESPN. He went on his podcast and said, when news was announced that Shannon had been bought out of his contract with FS1 and would be leaving after the finals, two things came to my mind. That's a big loss for the show Undisputed because Shannon matters, and that I don't know what his plans are. I don't know what he's trying to pursue. I don't know what he's after, but if Shannon Sharpe needs me, I'm happy to be here for him, and if that includes him wanting to come on First Take, I want the bosses to know that's something I would support. I'm telling you right now, if Shannon Sharpe wants to join their roster, there's no resistance from Stephen A. I've got love for Shannon Sharpe. So this is so great to me from Stephen A. Smith. Look, whether he really believes it or not, I think it's great that he put that out in the atmosphere. Can I tell y'all a quick story real quick? When I was an intern at ESPN, you know, when you work at Connecticut, when this is how things were set up, you learn quickly how important Stephen A. Smith is. Like, he's usually always on his phone. He's loud. He's talking. You just know he's an important deal, right? I'm not making this up. Y'all know I wouldn't lie to y'all about this. Not a lot of talent talks to interns at ESPN outside of, like, the job, or at least to me. I can't speak to everybody. I was only there for so long. But I didn't have a lot of unnecessary conversations with talent. You know what's crazy? Stephen A. would walk up to the young black males at ESPN, and I'm not lying to you because he did it to me on multiple occasions. Now, he didn't remember my name. He used to call me Antoine a lot. But he would walk up to the young black men and say, yo, how they treating y'all? They treating y'all right? They treating y'all fair? All right, if anything ever goes wrong, y'all talk to me. Y'all know I got y'all back. And, you know, just being young, I was 21, 22 at the time, young and black, and, you know, nervous, man. I'm working with some of the biggest people in sports media, hell, in journalism in the world. These people, when I was a young kid in North Memphis watching ESPN, watching the late, great Stuart Scott alongside Scott Van Pelt, who worked there. Like, Scott's a guy that I looked up as a kid. I'm in Stuart Scott's hallway. He has a hallway named after him in Connecticut. Like, this was my dream. I'm like, bro, like, I'm really here. I work with people like this. Like, do you know how comforting that was for me? Like, I'm just being real with y'all. So when I see Stephen A. getting a bad rep online, you know, and I see some of the comments, I kind of scratch my head like, yo, Stephen A., I don't know about that one. But when I tell y'all, that brother, at least when I was there, was all about helping the young black man. Like, that's why it always bothers me when I see stuff online. And I love the fact that Stephen A. is going out of his way to throw a helping hand to Shannon Sharpe, because though Shannon Sharpe's a 3-time Super Bowl champion, he's a Hall of Famer. Like, there's levels to this. And no matter who you prefer, Shannon or Stephen A., whatever, who cares, right? Stephen A. is at the top of the business. And everybody knows that. Him offering that helping hand to Shannon, like, that's so dope to me. And I love that on a lot of levels for Shannon. Now, I don't know what that means about Stephen A. and Skip's relationship. That's interesting. Like, Stephen A. and Skip are like real friends outside the world. I'm kind of shocked that Stephen A. went on that ledge, pretty much saying he would do a new First Take and remove the guy that brought him back to ESPN and the guy that brought Shannon to FS1. Very interesting to me, and I'm super interested to see where Skip lands. Matter of fact, if you keep watching this video, at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you where I think Skip Bayless is going to go to for his next co-host. Stay tuned for that. But what I wanted to say first was, from a fit perspective with ESPN, I said this before, and I say it again, I don't think Stephen A. and Shannon Sharpe make any sense at all. If you're ESPN, by the way, look, ESPN just had a big layoff. For those who don't know, I had friends that got laid off at ESPN this time around. It kind of sucks when you see a company like that have a big layoff, but they just paid Pat McAfee a lot of money. The number's undisclosed, but it's going to be a lot of money. And then for them, if they were to add another entity in Shannon, when you see people get laid off, it's optically a bad look, but Shannon's an incredible talent. I just didn't think ESPN would go after Shannon because too much of his skills overlap with Stephen A. And I think if you bring Shannon in over on First Take, number one, I don't think it fits. Number two, I think Shannon, his personality is just unique, bro. It's a unique personality. All the grandma sayings, the old country boy saying, it's going to really make people want more of Shannon, and I believe less of Stephen A. I don't think it works, but I love that Stephen A. did that. And I think from a actual sports content perspective, like I said, it doesn't make a lot of sense. They don't like the Dallas Cowboys, neither of them. Like, what kind of show are you going to build? Both of these guys' thing is to clown the Dallas Cowboys. So what are you now going to have two people on Monday morning clowning the Dallas Cowboys? What if the Cowboys are winning? It actually doesn't make sense from a show perspective. I just think Stephen A. right now could just really use a consistent co-host. So he's just kind of shooting against the wall. And I think he actually really wants to help the brother Shannon land on his feet. I love that he put it out there to the higher up at ESPN. Yo, this ain't nothing. Like, there's nothing there between me and Shannon. If y'all want him, go get him. Again, I was somebody, if you asked me a couple days ago, that just didn't think this could happen. But I will say this. Skip did bounce on ESPN. If ESPN, and like this stuff does get petty at the higher ups. And not saying I know anybody personally. I'm just saying this stuff does get petty in corporate. If ESPN want to stick it to Skip one last time, it would be to bring Shannon in. And with the fact that you got the cosign from Stephen A. publicly on his podcast, and then I just saw Pat McAfee on his show say, yo, Shannon is a huge entity. He's going to land great. I mean, Pat McAfee's he was just the hottest free agent a few weeks ago. He would know, right? You got pretty much the two new top talents. Stephen A's obviously been a top talent, but Pat's going to be a new top talent at ESPN. You got these two cosigns. I'm just saying that maybe I was wrong. They might find a way to bring Shannon in. I'm just saying maybe I didn't think about it from the lens of ESPN might want to stick it to Skip, and ESPN might just want to bring in a talent that's going to land on his feet. I was listening to Pat McAfee's show, and he was just kind of discussing like, yo, there's so many companies right now that are looking to get in the sports content game. And he was like, yo, I had so many offers out there that I was fielding with these interviews. By the way, your boy FERRO will be in the market in the next couple of years. I promise you that. I can't wait to get my bag. But I'm listening to Pat, a guy who pretty much created his own team. I love how he did it, right? And he's got a demo that, he's got his own thing. He doesn't overlap with. So Pat's a guy that I knew ESPN would bring in, right? Because Pat doesn't overlap with like anybody. Like, he's got his own demographic. It's a unique demographic. He reaches the middle of America. It's a football cater show. He's got pretty much everybody on the NFL circuit on his show throughout the season and off season. It's crazy. Aaron Rodgers loves the guy. ESPN can't avoid Aaron Rodgers. He's like the most popular athlete in the sport now that Tom's gone. I understand why you bring Pat in. I'm starting to understand why you might bring Shannon in, because if I'm listening to McAfee correctly, he's saying, yo, a lot of people trying to get in the content game, and ESPN might just want to sign him so they don't allow another company to get off the ground if it is a person or a company that they look at as a rival of them. I didn't think about that from that lens. So maybe Shannon will end up at ESPN. Clearly the brother has a plan, though. I don't think somebody that smart doesn't know what his next move looks like. He might not know exactly how it's going to go. I think that brother knows something, though. I will end this video with this one last thing, as I promised you. I don't know what direction Skip Bayless is going to go in for his next co-host. My guess is when it's all said and done, he just does a one-man podcast. But I think he's going to finish out that contract with FS1. I think he signed through 2025. Here's my prediction, and I literally just thought of this on my own. I didn't get this from anybody else. I'm going to say Skip Bayless makes a call to his good old friend, and I know this sounds crazy, Lil Wayne. If you go down the Skip Bayless lens and what he looks at as content and what he looks at as entertainment, he doesn't know a lot about entertainers, but he knows the big stars. Don't be surprised one bit if Skip Bayless goes in the direction of trying to get a Lil Wayne or a Snoop Dogg to be his co-host for the foreseeable future. I know that sounds ridiculous, but if you really think about it, you're going to be like, dang, FERRO made a good point. I think for the foreseeable future, I think Skip's going to try to get Lil Wayne as his co-host. I really do. It fits some of what Skip likes in content, the big name. I mean, I don't know how much longer Wayne has as a top-tier rapper. The man just walked off stage at one of his final shows on his tour. I don't know. I'm saying I would be surprised if Skip tries to recruit Wayne as his next co-host. And he's got a lot of recruiting to do because his former co-host, Stephen A., ain't playing around. He clear as day just recruited Skip's current co-host, about to come to an end, Shannon Sharpe, to First Take. Y'all let me know where y'all think these entities are going to land. Who you think is going to be Skip Bayless' next co-host? And what you think about Stephen A. recruiting old Shay Sharpe to ESPN? Would you be here for a Shannon Sharpe, Stephen A. First Take? I don't think it makes sense from a television standpoint, but boy, would it be entertaining. Oh my goodness, would it be entertaining. Time, love, and support is what your boy would never take for granted. I'm out.